Worrying about the future causes a horrible reaction called anxiety. Ugh, a pube! That gnawing chatter in the skull that seeks to ruin and waste your life. Keep you up at night and churn in your stomach like a dodgy kebab with a 1-star rating on Deliveroo. Wouldn't you like to switch that off? Fortunately, I have a hack for that. I'm going to tell you about a super spell word that works like magic you can use to achieve greatness in life. Most people spend their lives in a hazy daze of anxiety, hoping that if they move and keep busy just long enough, it wonon't catch up with them. It's more stupid than putting a knife in the toaster.
I didn't fucking do it! I'm gonna do it! Man the fuck up!
Because if you never address the things that cause you anxiety, writhes inside you like a tapeworm with teeth, burrowing deeper into the recesses of your mind until you eventually have a breakdown. So what do you do to not feel anxious? Let me tell you! Let's start with the word. What the bloody flip is Amor Fati? Apart from sounding like I'm having a go at fat people again. Because they're easy targets, aren't they? Especially at the gun range. Amor Fati is a Latin phrase, and this is what it means. Translates to a love of fate. So when we face things that we can't control, really, the only sensible reaction is to embrace them and make the most out of them. It's like this. Because to me, there's nothing worse than someone whinging, moaning and complaining about all the bad things that have happened to them in their life. It's more annoying than I went to that dinner party at Hogwarts.
What about your Uncle Belby? Is he working on anything new?
I don't know. He and my dad don't get on. Probably because my dad says potions are rubbish.
He's a dirty mum. Slow down, for Christ's sake. You give yourself indigestion. It's not a race. Amor Fati is loving what happens to you. Not just accepting or tolerating the things that happen to you, but actively loving it. So when facing your car being towed away, instead of getting really angry and screaming at the person doing it, for you cannot change it. Instead, say, this is for me. I choose this. I want it this way. And this is the best fucking thing that's happened to me. Might seem like you've gone barking bloody mad to any onlookers. So why do it? Because anything else is literally a waste of your time. Make your energy renewable. Like these. I'm a big fan. On the subject of energy, somebody went and stole 100 cans of my Red Bull the other day. Don't know how they sleep at night. Sometimes our greatest gifts in life come from completely unexpected places that you probably wouldn't have been in had it not been for what you first assumed to be bad luck.
Once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer who lost a horse, ran away. And all the neighbors came round that evening and said, "That's too bad." And he said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back and brought 7 wild horses with it. And all the neighbors came around and said, "Why, that's great, isn't it?" And he said, "Maybe." The next day, his son was attempting to tame one of these horses and was riding it and was thrown and broke his leg. And all the neighbors came round in the evening and said, "Well, that's too bad, isn't it?" And the farmer said, "Maybe." And the next day, the conscription officers came around looking for people for the army, and they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. And all the neighbors came round at the evening and said, "Isn't that wonderful?" And he said, "Maybe." The whole process of nature is an integrated process of immense complexity, and it is really impossible to tell whether anything that happens in it is good or bad, because you never know what will be the consequences of a misfortune, or you never know what will be the consequences of good fortune.
Friedrich Nietzsche, that's this geezer, who looks like he's got a dead rabbit living under his nose. He bloody loved Amor Fati. It was his favourite. My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati. That one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it. We spend a huge deal of our time doing the exact opposite, repeating our errors over in our mind at 3 a.m. in the morning, like a terrible bloody film we just can't turn, and lamenting in the early hours of the night the cruel twists of fate, which meant that we didn't get our perfect ending, wishing that things could have gone different. I did have a German philosophy joke prepared. I don't think you'll get it though, it's a bit Nietzsche. Nietzsche believed that we need to have these ideas to hand to salve our wounds when things go badly, and they will go badly way more often than they go right. Amor Fati is one of those ideas that you can keep in your pocket, like a tube of antiseptic, to soothe the wounds of disappointment and stop you from being infected with bitterness. I mean, look, Nietzsche could have done what anyone did.
There must have been so many lamentations and regrets running through his mind in his walks across the Upper Engadine and his nights in his modest wooden chalet in Sils Maria. If only I'd stuck with an academic career, if only I'd been more confident around certain women, if only I'd written in a more popular style, if only I'd been born in France.
Yeah, and if me auntie had bollocks, she'd be me uncle. Amor Fati was the idea needed to regain sanity after numerous hours of self-recrimination and self-criticism, to quieten the mind after gnawing into itself about what could have been. It's then that we realise that things couldn't really have been otherwise. Because everything you are now is because of the things that have happened to you, good and bad. We are powerless to alter what went right and what went wrong. It's more pointless than the UK Eurovision. It's only that we attach a meaning and categorise things as either good or bad. Don't give in to the agony of regret. Rather, just say to yourself, when you recognise yourself falling into that familiar trap of regret, just say, Amor Fati, which admittedly does sound like I'm trying to explain my symptoms to a doctor after a persistent bout of wind. It might seem bloody crazy when you lose a loved one to say, Amor Fati, I love this. This is what has happened to me, and no amount of wishing will change it. This isn't Disney, this is real. You can't rub a magic lamp and get 3 wishes. If I did, I think I'd be more preoccupied with the fact I was talking to Will Smith. What are you doing here? But life ain't like Disney. There aren't no happy endings here, unless you go and get a Thai massage. So to rage against it is a waste of your time. To do anything other than love it is a waste of your time. Life is designed in a way to appear random and give you the illusion that you have free will. But how do you know you're making your decisions because somebody told you that you have free will? Seems flimsy. I think life is scripted, but it's scripted in a way that makes us think we have free will. Otherwise this whole game wouldn't really work, would it? We need to feel like we've come to a decision ourselves. Therefore, the things that happen to us might feel like chance, but they're not. This video is sponsored by me. Yeah, that's right, I've sponsored my own video. Because if you like what you're watching and you want to support the continuation of it, and then you get your very own copy of my 3-book bundle. If you want to read a book that's a bit like a grown-up Harry Potter or a modern-day Sherlock Holmes with magic, then you're going to want to read Wizard for Hire. For just $9.99 you can read all 3 books now. Look at all these amazing reviews. But if you don't like reading, then instead, if this video tickled you, then if you could tickle the like button for me just like this, until it turns blue, I'd be awfully grateful. Now, on with the video. We carry with us a vision of how we'd like to see things turn out. We have small visions for how we'd like to see the rest of our day pan out, and big visions for what we'd like to achieve in life. The friction comes when something unexpected comes along to shatter that vision. Like a football through the window, or bloody football fans singing 3 lines on the shirt, or football's coming home at 3 o'clock in the bloody morning right outside my house. Brilliant. These things spoil our day. We might get an unexpected phone call with bad news, or a bill, or an attractive woman with a clipboard flirting with you outrageously for over an hour, only to sign you up to a charity supplying hammers to homeless Haitians. The magic comes when you can accept beforehand that today I'm going to be disturbed numerous times. Therefore, when I expect to be disturbed, but then I'm not disturbed, I am pleasantly surprised. While I was writing this, it was a hot day. I opened the window. A bloody fly flew in, buzzing around, being noisy. Now normally I'd go and get a tea towel and cave the bastard's brain in, but this time I focused on letting it happen. Then after 3 hours I got pissed off and bought a fly zapper on Amazon. Much more dignified than death by tea towel. You are unique in your place in the world. There is absolutely no one else like you. We are each snowflakes, dancing in a tornado called life. Instead of fighting against the wind, love the wind. This is the formula for human greatness. Is that easy? No. No. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No. But why does everything you want have to be easy? I could, very easily, sell you something else, couldn't I? It would be great for me. I could spout any old bollocks, sell you a book or a course at the same time. I could just say, get a vision board and just imagine the thing that you want. And by magic, it would just come to you. But that would be bollocks. As human beings, our natural human nature will conjure up the following word when we feel a grievance. Why me? Why me? That's why Amor Fati is hard, because you're going against a natural human inclination. This is life. Life involves pain. Life involves adversity. You will die, and it won't be pleasant. You will fail. People will hurt you. But that's life.
I said that's life.
To resist that is to go against life. It does not mean you sit on your arse all day and let life pass you by.
Watching Netflix, eating crisps, and Googling how to lose 5 stone by August.
It means you make the best out of every moment that you have and work on your goals as hard as you can. But if things do not turn out for the best, which they often won't, or they're not what you expect, or something comes along that you were not expecting, like a swift kick in the bollocks, say, Amor Fati. You get laid off from your job, somebody splits up with you, a friend no longer wants to be friends, someone shouts at you, you lose money, you can't pay the mortgage or rent. You're likely to fall on the floor and scream, why me, why me? Big but see it as an opportunity, like the maybe parable. Lost your job? Well, maybe at the next job you get, you'll meet the love of your life, who, it turns out, has a foot fetish, so you have to dump her. But you know, it was a nice 3 months. If someone leaves you, fuck them, they weren't right for you then, were they? Opens up a space for someone new, potentially someone better, hopefully doesn't have a foot fetish. Life is mostly grim, sometimes horrific, but occasionally there are true moments of beauty and wonder. When things can't go wrong because you're accepting of everything, then there's nothing to worry about. You embrace your destiny no matter what. Not following your human idea of how life should go, but enjoying the tornado. Then you become great because you have nothing to fear. And a person who has nothing to fear becomes formidable.